So, I've already talked about why Damien Priest wasn't a bad idea to really get the briefcase. Why it was a good pick, and why it's not his fault at all. But with WrestleMania coming up, I was thinking, I was like, what's a wild thought of what may happen? Now we know we got all this stuff that's going on with Bloodline, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, and all that other stuff, all going in between. And for the most part, I was like, this isn't about Cody and Roman and all them, but Seth versus Drew. That's what we're getting. We all know who's going to win that one, right? Right? Drew McIntyre. He got to win it in front of the millions and millions of people at WrestleMania. That way he can finish his story. You know, that whole thing. Excuse me. But I was also thinking about this. So, while Bloodline has been getting, like interfering in around Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre has decided to be like, you know what? I'm not going to fight either side. I'm not going to beat him and join him, but on either end. So he just been letting what happened happen. But he basically also been telling himself that, like, hey, you need to stay out their business because it's going to mess up my chances. But if you want to do that, fine, I'll take advantage. Now, The Rock has also said that, hey, that title you got, we will make sure, you keep on messing around, we'll make sure, basically, that you're going to lose that title. So, alright, so my thing is, what about if Drew doesn't win? He loses once again. Throwing away everything that he basically been talking about and doing. Hey, it fell short. Sucks, right? So, with that, because we would think like, hey, maybe The Rock is talking about basically making you mess up Seth and Drew taking advantage. But what about if I was like, it could either be the main plan or it could be plan B. Say, for instance, Drew fails despite Bloodline helping or whatever like that. Seth somehow still pulls out. I was like, Rock could just be like, plan B. Drew McIntyre comes out. I mean, not Drew McIntyre. He's already out there. He's done. Damien Priest comes out to cash the title on Seth. Guess what? After Seth seemed like he beat some of the Bloodline and he beat Drew. I was like, don't get me wrong, you're gonna have some fans be like, yo, what's going on with this? Drew should have won. Boo Seth won again. Yeah. But I'm talking about outside of that because I was like, within the story, we'll forget that part. But Seth wins. He's holding up his championship. He's like, oh man. He's like, now I'm gonna try to get ready for this tag match, whatever, blah blah blah, whatever you want to say. And The Rock just comes down and he's like, you think that was it? You think that was the last thing that you were gonna do? You think it was just gonna be that easy? And then you hear Damien Priest music come and hit, and then he comes down and he's like, apparently you got one more that you got to deal with. And Damien Priest comes out there and says like, bring it on, that kind of thing. And basically, you either have Damien win straight up, like Seth just can't he just can't finish them all off, or the Bloodline just still keeps on helping, whatever. And also long-term booking. Remember, Bloodline and Judgment Day did have an alliance. They did come to agreeing points a lot of times throughout this year. I'm just saying you could play in on that as well. And Damien just takes the belt off of Seth. You can still do Drew and CM Punk. They don't necessarily need the title, just is a lot more compelling if they do. But Damien Priest now has the title. I was like, the briefcase gets cashed in, and it seems like an actual like good cash in. It doesn't just seem like like it actually builds within the store. Yes, he takes advantage of everything. Seth Rollins is down, but guess what? Now Seth Rollins did technically 2 championship matches, and he still got to do the tag team match. And guess what that builds to? The tag team match where they're gonna lose. or whatever, and Seth is not gonna be able to help out Cody the way he is because he's just too brutal and tired, or whatever you want to say. I'm just saying that you can have it all tie in, and in a way that makes him use the briefcase, but it works. It doesn't feel like okay, I guess like he won the championship or there's a cash in on top of something. It actually matters. I was like, cause now I was like, now Seth is just tired, lost the championship. He's sadder than what he was, and I was like, and I don't think you necessarily ruin Drew in that situation. Which, I mean, that way you could have it where it's like a triple threat of sorts. That way that way Drew could still look strong. Like, you don't have to pin himself. Maybe like Drew hits the Claymore on Seth, but Drew gets the Stairway to Heaven from Priest, but he pins Seth, and that's game. You know what I'm saying? There's that. I was like, so there's that. That's a little tweak where it's not just Plan B, where just Drew just lose outright. Because I was like, Drew loses 3 times to Seth. You know, I was like, at that point, how much I was like, you don't want to crush that other Drew story, but it could build with Drew's story if he just doesn't get the pin and the win, even though he didn't lose. You know, so I was like, maybe you have it that way, and that's just the original plan where The Rock just like, he's like, oh, you thought it was just gonna be a regular match or halfway in between Damien Priest or something like that. But I think that's the only way to really capitalize on this. If Seth beats Drew, then you have to. Then I was like, that's the way to pull it, because I was like I said, those people that would be over here like, boo, Seth, boo, boo you. I was like, I think they'll be satisfied with Damien Priest not only taking it off of Seth, him cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase, but also The Rock is the one that led to it, and that's why I think that The Rock could be the one to lead to Damien Priest cashing in the championship. Anyway, what do you think about this? Let me know. Does it sound stupid? Maybe, probably. But hey, we just spitballing here, baby. I was like, we over here this fantasy booking. That's what we doing. But hey, maybe you got something else of how he should lose his Money in the Bank. You know, it's like he only got like 3 more months anyway to try to do it before the next ladder match. But until then, see you again, I guess. Yeah.